Today on the review channel, I have the brand new Crosstour CT9700 action camera. This is a 4K 50 frames per second action camera with a touchscreen, image stabilization, and a whole box full of accessories. Let's take a look at it. What's up everybody, and welcome back to the Phase Reviews YouTube channel. My name is Jordan Nelson, and if you're new here, thank you so much for joining us. This Crosstour CT9700 has come into my possession at just the right time because I've recently decided that I like mountain biking. Coronavirus has made me realize I need new outdoor hobbies, and so I wanted an action camera that I could take out with me while I was mountain biking. Now, I've owned an action camera in the past. This is a different brand, which I'll hide so you don't see because I'm gonna talk some smack on it. But this was about $40. I got this back in July when my wife and I moved cross country, and it has not been impressive at all. The video quality is very subpar. There's no image stabilization. The controls are very confusing and hard to use. And on the whole, I just have not been that satisfied with this. If I'm gonna go out and mountain bike and do these fun activities, I wanna be able to show people footage that I'm not ashamed of. So this is no good. I'll show you some footage from this to compare later on, but this Crosstour 9700 really is a huge improvement over that camera. This is Crosstour's new top of the line model. The 9700 sits at the very peak of all their product categories, and it has a lot of upgraded features over the past generation, which I believe was the 9500. Like every review on this channel, we're gonna start with the packaging. I always say that if a company is willing to invest time and thought into how they package their product, it says a lot about the company and the product itself. And so looking at the packaging, I like how well this is done. It's very compact, but it feels sturdy, nothing flimsy about this. It didn't come to me damaged. And looking at the outside of the box, you've got a list of the features. You also have all of your specs on the camera right there on the side of the box, along with the FCC labels and stuff like that. It looks like some thought went into this, which I like to see. Now, we'll open this package up and we'll talk about what comes with the camera. I've got the camera out already because I've been using it, but inside of here is a mind-blowing number of accessories, okay? So you're gonna have your manual, well written, very thick, all right? Lots of details going over all the features of the product. You've got your card for the warranty and support, and they've even included a QR code to get in touch with them, so that's nice to see. You do get a little, I've got it over here actually, that's how I got my plastic from unpacking it. You get this little microfiber cloth to clean the lens and the touchscreen of the camera, which is in everything nowadays, but really the meat and potatoes is this box right here, which is the accessories, and there is an obscene amount of accessories included with this package. So let's talk about what you get with it. The most standard accessories that you're going to see with one of these action cameras is the underwater case, the clear plastic case. That is on my bike helmet at the moment, so I don't have it in here with me, but that's going to be what you're seeing with a GoPro or any other action camera. The case included with this Crosstour camera is rated up to 40 meters of depth. I have not tested that, but I'm gonna trust them that it can go really freaking deep. They also include a spare back door for that little case in case you need to replace the water seal or you're having any issues in that arena. Besides the clear waterproof case, which is pretty standard, you're gonna get a ton of other accessories included that you don't have to pay extra for, which I really like to see. You're gonna get a bike mount, which is on my bike helmet right now. I use two straps to go through the holes of my helmet and hold on the clear plastic case. You've also got this really big kind of clamp. You've got various mounts to put the camera on the side of your helmet or the top of your helmet. You've got a bike handlebar mount. You've got adhesives if you want to put it on a flat surface, or if your bike helmet is flat enough, you can put it there. Various accessories to clip things in, and zip ties, Velcro straps. And then of course you're gonna get your USB charging lead as well as a double battery charger, and they do include a spare battery. I love that. That's something that you don't see with every action camera, and these can go through the battery pretty quick if you're shooting in 4K especially, and so having a spare that's ready and charged and good to go is really nice to have. You also get this, which is something that got me super excited. This is a wireless remote, and it works radio frequency, so you do not need to have line of sight. So if you've got the camera up on a bike helmet mount like I do, you can just strap this to your wrist while you're riding and start and stop your video or take pictures on the go without having to reach up and try to, finagle the camera on top of your head. All right, so those are all the accessories, and now I'm losing them off the side. Let's talk about the camera itself. Build quality is great. Smooth finish, no visible imperfections that I can see. I really like the detailing on the side. It has a nice weight to it. The weight can tell you a lot about the quality of a product. This does not feel flimsy. It feels very, very solid to me. Having held GoPros in the past, the weight is identical. Another great thing about the camera are the buttons themselves. Very, very clicky. Can you hear that? Yeah? Something that you do not see on the lower end action cameras. You've got your record button on top as well as your power button. You've also got 2 arrow buttons on the side. On the bottom of the unit, you have your battery compartment, and on the side, you've got your ports, which include the charging port, the mini HDMI, and the micro SD slot. But the most important surface of this camera is the back, because this model now has a touchscreen. And let me tell you, this is a huge improvement. That other action cam I've used and most other action cams, you have to navigate using the buttons on the top and on the side. You have to click through menus one selection at a time, and it takes forever. This touchscreen is so responsive, and it makes navigating through the modes and the settings so much quicker. I'm gonna readjust the camera, show you the touchscreen, and we'll go through a few of the features on the CT9700. All right, so before we get rolling with this camera, you need to make sure that you have a micro SD card in the slot. This is not included. This is the one thing that you're gonna have to buy, but that's pretty much the way it goes with any action camera. So that's pretty easy to slot in there. All right, and then we'll just turn it up to the top, hold the power button for a couple of seconds, and we're good to go. I'll hold this a little bit closer so we can see here. Powering it up, it's gonna go by default into the standard video mode. So if you wanna access the modes themselves, there's a quick access menu down here on the bottom where that little camera icon is. You can see you've got standard video, you've got time lapse, you've got slow motion, you've got photos, photo lapse, and timing photo. All of these video modes are explained in the manual. The ones I use the most would obviously be your standard video, your slow motion, and your time lapse. These other ones you can use, but I don't really use them that much. You saw when we came back out of that menu how responsive the touchscreen is. It really is just, you don't have to push hard at all, and it responds right away. Looking at the top, it'll tell you how much record time you have left on your current quality mode. You've got your indicator that the microphone is on and your battery life, and you've also got this little play button right here if you'd like to access your files. Now, I don't have any on here at the moment because they're all offloaded on the computer, but once you take a video, you can look at it by clicking on the play arrow right there, and it would show up. Clicking the little gear icon down in the corner will take you to the settings that pertain to the mode that you're in. So we're in video mode right now. You've got your resolution first and foremost, all the way up to the native 4K 50 frames per second. So if you want to shoot amazingly crisp footage at 50 frames per second so you can do some slow-mo, you have that option. My computer cannot handle 50 frames per second 4K. It can't even handle 4K at all. So I do the majority of my shooting in 1080p, 60 frames per second. If you want to do even faster slow motion, you can go up to 90 frames per second in the 1080p or 120 frames per second in 720p. You've also got your image stabilization that you can toggle on and off right here. I'm going to keep that on. Video segmentation will, not POV. Video segmentation will automatically start and stop your video at certain intervals, so it chops it into different segments just in case your camera runs out of battery while you are out on a bike trail or something. FOV, or field of view, controls how wide your view in the camera is, so you can do a really, really wide, almost fisheye angle, or take it down through the camera settings to a more narrow, normal field of view. Now, action cameras, you're pretty used to big, wide angles, so I keep it on wide. One thing to note is that if you use the anti-shake feature or the image stabilization, it will automatically lower the field of view down to medium, and that's because that's required for it to utilize its image stabilization software. Below that, you have distortion correction, which will correct the kind of fisheye, fishbowl look that you get with such a wide angle lens, and we'll look at footage of that in just a moment. You also can turn the audio on or off if you don't want to record things through the microphone. You can select your encoding mode. H.264 is what you want if you're in the US. Exposure settings, white balance, and metering. So standard video control options there. Clicking the gear icon one more time takes you to the main camera settings. Here you can adjust the default mode, when the screen powers off, when the whole camera powers off, what scene mode you're in, whether your Wi-Fi is on or off to connect to your phone, what language you're in, the frequency, 60 Hertz again if you're in the US, screen rotation, date, beep, date and time, and do a reset or format your memory card. Really, all standard features, but I love that you can access them all with your finger without having to click through these side buttons or top buttons a bajillion times. All right, so let's show you some footage. The first footage that I shot was me on my bike in my neighborhood. I didn't have time to get out to the trail when I got this camera, but I wanted to get this video out as soon as possible. But I made sure to go over some curbs and through the grass to simulate a few bumps that I would handle out on the trail. Obviously not the same intensity, but I'm doing the best I can here. So this first clip is without any image stabilization or distortion correction. The footage looks really great. This is 1080p 60, so I'm not even utilizing the full 4K 50 frames per second, again, because my computer can't handle it. But right here, I'm really happy with this. Comparing it to footage from my old camera, you can see how much worse that looks. Absolute garbage, in my opinion, unusable. It's shaky, it's overblown. I do not like it at all. Things look a lot better on this camera. Now I'm gonna switch on the distortion correction. And the distortion correction attempts to remove the curvature of the image caused by the wide angle lens. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of this. You can see the software kind of stuttering and having some jitter while it tries to correct that internally. You can leave this on, but I normally would leave this off. I don't think it's necessary. People see action cameras and they kind of are used to that fishbowl lens type look. This last bit of footage is with the image stabilization on. You can see that the field of view has been reduced, but that the image is much more stable. Now, when I move my head really rapidly side to side to check for traffic or something like that, you'll notice that the camera tries to catch up and it may stutter a little bit, but if you were out riding, your head was facing forward, you weren't jerking your head around a lot like me, the image would be much less jittery as opposed to having the image stabilization off. Overall, I'm super impressed with the image quality in this camera. Even shooting in 1080p 60 frames per second, this is leaps and bounds better than the other action camera I have, and combined with the touchscreen and the host of accessories that you get with the camera, it really can't be beat. All right, so final thoughts. I love the Crosstour CT9700. My opinion is this is the closest you're gonna get to a GoPro without actually buying one, and you're gonna get it for a fraction of the cost of the name brand camera. I love how easy to operate it is. I love that they include a ton of accessories and not just things to throw in for the heck of it, but actual useful ones that really apply to the activities people are going to be doing with this camera. I love that they have 2 batteries with a dual charger, and the camera is just easy to run. There's no big learning curve. There's no hard menus to navigate. It's all at the touch of your finger. If you want to pick up one of these Crosstour action cameras, you can click the link down in the description and go check it out. If you buy through there, it would support the channel and I would love you for it. Also, if you're not a subscriber yet, consider becoming one. There'll be great tech reviews and more videos coming out on this channel in the near future. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.